the most valuable part of advice has never been the math. It's always been meaning, connecting money to purpose. We talked about that yesterday.
The experience.
Goals, values, and life decisions. Technology can provide data. Only humans can provide wisdom.
Welcome to Advisor Talk with Frank LaRosa, brought to you by Elite Consulting Partners. It's the only podcast offering unfiltered guidance and the direct advice for all things concerning financial advisors, RIAs, and the practitioners in the wealth management business. And now, welcome to the show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Advisor Talk with Frank LaRosa. I'm your host, blah, blah, blah. I'm with my co-host, Stacey Frank. How you doing?
Blah, blah, blah. Happy to be back. Happy to be back.
Happy to be back. I don't know why I said that.
Thanks
I just
for
feel
listening.
like saying blah, blah, blah. I know that a lot of people have listened to our podcast all the time, and I know our intro can get a little redundant, so I wanted to change it up and make sure you're paying attention. If you are listening, and you have been listening for a long time, thank you very much. We really appreciate that. Great comments. I love talking to people that say they listen to our podcast on the weekends, and it's really insightful and educational, and that's what we're all about. So today we're going to go down this. By the way, if you're not listening, this is the first time you've listened to it, we thank you for joining. If you feel like you have somebody that you think should be listening to it, please forward this. Let them know about it. We really appreciate it. So today we are going to go down the road of AI. So I'm going to try to make this educational, informative in my lane, in our lane, which is financial services. But this is not going to be one of these like Dan Martell. If you follow him, he's a YouTube guy. He's really, really good at giving you advice and stuff on how to use chat and different prompts and all that. I went down a serious rabbit hole with that over the weekend. It was snowing. It was perfect. I think I spent 8 hours on the computer just learning about how to use chat to make my life more efficient.
I think we were the recipient of the content that you were looking at.
Yes, that would be a fact. Anyway, and what was interesting, and where I started going down this road, and this is almost a warning in a way to advisors. It's like beware of this, but at the same time, it actually, I think, puts advisors in a better position, right? And I'm going to take this thing back in 2000, 2001, when there was this thing called online trading, right? And for those of you that weren't in the business in 2000, 2001, or maybe weren't even in high school or anything like that, the idea was that all clients were going to be able to trade online, and it was going to be the end of financial advisors. It was the end of financial advisors. Everybody can trade online with Schwab or whoever else, and it's over, right? We all know what happened. The market blew up, tech bubble. Investors that thought they could do that online learn really fast. It's not as easy as they think it was, and if anything, it made the advisor's position even more important than ever before, which many of us always knew, but that was going to be the case. I'm just going to say chat or AI because there's all different platforms. We use chat mainly, but there's Claude and others, right? So if I say chat or AI, you know what I'm talking about. It's the same thing. But I think in today's environment, you should be looking at chat the same way. There are a lot of people that are saying chat is going to put the financial advisors out of business, right? Because now a client can just, put into chat, I just inherited $1 million. I'm 67 years old. I have 3 kids. Blah, blah, blah. I have concerns about my elderly parents. I live in New Jersey. Whatever, right? I have an addiction to race cars, whatever it is. I want to open an account at Schwab, and how should I invest the money, right? And chat will come back with an answer, and it could be right or wrong, or it could be something in the middle. And I think that's what people think is going to be the end of financial advisors. But the reality is that's not the truth. I think that, and I'm going to read something that one of my consultants, John Nair, did, who's also a advisor, a business coach.
Yep.
And he did something. So I'm going to read it. For those of you that are listening to us, I'm literally putting my glasses on because I have a hard time seeing now as I'm getting older. And so I'm just going to read this because I think it's really important. And he basically put in that scenario in terms of like, so it just says the quote. The quote is, "The future of advice is human. Technology is simply how we scale our humanity." Expanded insight and strategic implications for financial services. Below is a robust expansion in 6 parts. I won't read all 6. Suitable for executive briefings, keynotes, leadership, right? So advice at its core, a human relationship business. Even in a world where AI can produce instant answers, generate portfolios, rebalance accounts, and forecast probabilities with precision, I'll say that 10 times fast. It cannot replace the human experience of being heard, feeling understood, emotional reassurance during uncertainty, guidance in stressful or confusing moments, empathy, compassion, and shared humanity, navigating family dynamics, helping clients articulate what they truly want their money to do. The most valuable part of advice has never been the math. It's always been meaning, connecting money to purpose. We talked about that yesterday.
The experience.
Goals,
Right.
values, and life decisions. Technology can provide data. Only humans can provide wisdom. So think about that, right? Don't be afraid to talk to your clients about AI. Don't be afraid about chat. Like, I don't want to bring it up because, I might lose that client. I had a client that actually used AI to figure out like what are the 3 or 4 firms. I don't know what his prompt was, but basically he was asking chat like what firms he should be talking to, and it gave him some firms that he should be talking to, and some of them were good firms, but very quickly into that process, he realized he didn't know what he doesn't know. And going at this alone by himself without someone like me was going to be very difficult for him. And he called me and said, "Hey, I need your help." Right? And it's the same thing because it's a human connection. It's understanding what he's really going to be looking for, what he's really feeling, helping him filter out the noise, all of those things. And so for you as a financial advisor, you have to be thinking about the same thing. What that means, though, is if it's going to be all about service, you better have your service dialed in. Like the advisor that is really like you had one guy that, was supposed to move. He didn't move because he hadn't talked to his clients in years, right? That client's probably going to get crushed by AI.
Yep.
Because that advisor, is going to get crushed by AI because he basically in that business, right, was like a de facto Schwab, wasn't doing anything for those clients. It was just collecting, 12B1 fees.
Yeah, he totally removed the human component of it, the emotional, the empathy that a lot of clients need. AI can provide that empathy. Our CMO, Brian Lutz here, used a word that I want to bring up as it relates to how much you should be using AI and how much should you lean on the good old-fashioned, human component.
Yeah.
And the term is co-intelligence. And that just really resonated with me just a couple minutes ago, where I love using AI for data to give me information as financial advisors should, but there's no way that should ever replace the experience that you would have with the experts in the field, whether it's you guiding your clients or us guiding our financial advisors. We will always lead with the term co-intelligence because it's great information, but only humans know how to use it in a humanistic way.
Well, speaking of that, let me read you number 2. Technology removes friction. Advisors remove fear. FinTech streamlines tasks, paperwork, data entry, planning projections, tax optimization, portfolio construction, scenario modeling, blah, 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 right? AI will only accelerate this. So that's where you should be using AI, how to figure that stuff out. I would tell you should go to YouTube, Google Dan Martell. His stuff was amazing. I'm going to try to get him on our podcast because it was awesome. Like I learned so much just in the last 72 hours. Well, what's today? Whatever it is, whatever.
Wednesday.
Since Sunday. But what tech cannot remove is fear. Fear of the market, fear of the future, fear of outliving assets, fear of the unknown, the certainty of uncertainty, fear of making the wrong choice, fear of, this is not in here, but just, fear of your parents living, in another state and they're older, and fear of when you're going to get that phone call that they slip and fell and then they have to go into a nursing home, and what is that expense going to do to your retirement planning? Do they have enough money to pay for, elder care and in-home service? Like chat can't help you work through those things.
Yeah. I'm going to be a little facetious here, if I may.
Let me finish. Hold on. So hold that thought.
Go ahead.
Clients don't hire advisors because they lack calculators. They hire advisors because they lack clarity. So clients don't hire advisors because they lack calculators. Clients hire advisors because they lack clarity. The clients lack clarity, not the advisors. Technology makes things faster. Human advisors make things clearer. Boom. Now you can go.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Thanks for permission.
I'm tagging you in.
It's okay. No, what I was going to say was, it's great to leverage AI, chat, whatever, for information. But when something goes wrong, or maybe there was an incorrect suggestion, who are you going to call? Who can you pick up the phone to say, I'm worried, things aren't going right, my accounts, my legacy, my estate, whatever. Who are you going to call to maybe talk you off the ledge? Unless there's some GoBot robot coming into play with AI, which I'm sure there is, but there's still going to be a major gap and void in the human factor in talking through your situation with a human being, an expert human being that AI can never accomplish. Sorry, had to get that in.
No, and it goes into, I don't know if I know you didn't read this, but you're like going right along with this whole thing.
I did read it.
You're sneaky. So the next one is technology democrats the tools. So this is sort of what she's saying. Like humanity differentiates the advisor. So as AI improves, everyone will have access to great planning, risk analysis, modeling, great model portfolios, automated reporting, digital client communications. Those will become commodities. And so the message to firms and advisors is, if that's like your selling point, you got a problem. When every firm has world-class tech, the only unique differentiator left is the advisor's humanity. Coaching, curiosity, empathy, listening, understanding values, helping clients align behavior with goals, building accountability, nurturing optimism and confidence, encouragement, leadership. In other words, technology will level the playing field. The advisor's humanity will define who wins.
Wow. It's powerful.
There's a bunch of others here. I'm not going to go through them. It's pretty amazing. Actually, if you want, I can send this to you. If you want to shoot me an email or a DM, and I can literally just send this to you. But it was really great. And so the bottom line here is, again, because I'm not going to get into sort of like all the different things that I've learned. I will tell you this: we use AI here for leadership decisions. It helps me get to a place faster.
Building standard operating procedures,
standard SOPs.
Yeah.
Building, whatever. Whether it's I have it attached to my calendar. I have it attached to my Outlook. I actually asked Chat, which is a Dan Martell thing, to go and analyze the last 6 months of my calendar to find out where I'm losing time and where I'm being inefficient and losing energy. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was like, my wife was like, "Who are you typing to?" Like, I don't know, she think I was having an affair or something like that. I mean, she was sitting on the couch right next to me because I just couldn't believe all the stuff that I was doing. And I think that you need to be learning how to, you need to be learning how to incorporate AI into your systems. And I know I'm preaching to the choir, and there are firms that are doing it, some better than others. Like I'll say like Raymond James as an example is one firm, and I'm not like on a Raymond James high horse thing here. I've seen it, and I know more specifically. Actually, I think there was an article about it yesterday, as a matter of fact. I forget what they call it, but they named it. We have our own AI. It's called Elite Genie. But everything that Raymond James platform sits within an AI system, and so it's constantly learning about the advisor and the advisor's practice and giving them ideas on how to be more efficient with their clients and opportunities and all this. So it's really a learning tool. You need to be doing that and working with your clients and helping them. Just it'll help you much, much better. But don't be afraid that, like, okay, if I don't learn, one, you need to learn it, right? Don't be naive either. Don't this thing is a fad. It's not, it's going to go away. It's not going away. And I don't care how old you are. You need to be learning how to use this stuff in your practice and learning how to use it for your clients, because there are going to be advisors that will run past you, right? Because they will be able to run their business more efficiently. And by running their business more efficiently through automations, SOPs, and whatever it is AI can help them with, right? They will be able to spend more time with their clients and eventually your clients. And that's the message. That is the message. If you're not using this stuff, you're going to be inundated, because we all know this, right? The businesses have gotten more and more complicated. In some ways easier, but in some ways more complicated. Advisors, you woke up one day and you went from having 300 clients to 800 clients, right? And those clients are more complicated. They need more things done. And so using AI will help you manage that more efficiently, become more profitable because you can be more efficient, right? But also, you're essentially buying back your time by plugging in AI to then build a better service model and or go out and get more business. But to me, it's all about service. It's all about these things, having more empathy, spending more time with those clients. When you do those things, you're locking them in. And even if they come to you and say, "Hey, I ran something through AI and it said something about this mutual fund or this money manager, and I'm just curious," right? That's fine, right? And they're not going to leave you. They're just trying to get educated. And candidly, an educated client is a really good client, which is really what you want.
Yeah, and I think you made a point before, too, that learning how to use AI effectively is an evolution. It takes practice.
Yeah.
You have to, I think you said, you have to teach the system on what your expectations are. It's going to spit out data and information, but the customization of it, I think that's the key here, is what we need to learn how to do more. How do you teach your AI to export what you want?
Yeah. So it was interesting. I had a conversation yesterday with my assistant, and she's great. She's a great job. And I'll say which is not going to be a surprise. She's just softer than me, right? She's rainbows and butterflies and unicorns and all that other stuff, right? And so her AI responds to her in a much different way than my AI does. Her AI says, "Wow, how does that make you feel? How are you feeling today?" Sounds like it's like a therapy
Frank,
session.
You're soft,
right? Yeah. Versus mine, I want direct, candid feedback. I don't want it to placate me. I don't want it to be like, "Wow, Frank, that was a great pickup or a great idea." I want
you're missing something.
You're missing something. Yeah. Yes, that makes sense. However, X, Y, or Z, right? I want it to be that. I look at our AI and we have a higher level paid subscription. If you listen to Dan Martell, I'll tell you that. Make sure you get either Chat 5.2. There's a plus. We have a business one. But if you're running on just Chat 4 or something, it's older. It doesn't have the same capabilities, right? Plugging in apps and all that other stuff, right? But you can go into settings and you can tell it exactly how you want it to operate, and you can tell it what kind of feedback you're looking for, how you want the feedback.
What kind of tone.
What kind of tone, right? What kind of tone that you want, and directness. And I also tell it that I want suggestions, right? Based on what I'm asking, also provide suggestions of essentially what I might not know, right? So you need to be doing this. The other trick that I did, which is again a Dan Martell thing, is I created what was called a CEO prompt SOP, right? So it interviewed me. It basically says, "I'm the CEO of Elite Consulting Partners. Interview me to create a working system prompt standard operating procedure." And it actually took me a couple hours, right? Because it was 7 different sections that it asked me all these different things about the business, about me, about how I make decisions, how I want people to communicate to me, how I communicate to people. What do I do when situations aren't working the way I want? What do I do when situations are working better than I want? Really, really cool stuff, right? And the better you answer those, so you all should do this. If you message me, I can give you exactly what the prompt was to create this thing, right? But to Stacey's point, it's a learning tool. That you have to teach it. The more you put into it, the more you communicate, the more feedback, like communicate with it about what it's giving you, the better it gets. What I mean by that is it may give you an answer, right? But if you know it's not like the perfect answer,
that doesn't sound like
then you
me,
tell
right.
it. Right. Like, hey, I don't typically use that kind of language, or I wouldn't say it. I wouldn't use that term. I would say it this way, or I would, and then I'll get, well, how great, great pickup, Frank. Based on that, it'll tell me what I want, right? Here's a suggestion. I can do this, this, and this next if you'd like, right? So you have to do it. You have to do these things. I'm really telling you guys, I'm passionate about this. Like I'm really obsessed about learning as much as I can. Only because I realize, like, holy shit. This thing can really, really help me. Like it's helped me make some decisions here that I still probably would have gotten to that decision, but it helped me make it much faster because I was able to put my thoughts in, and it basically sort of summarized what I was thinking about, and then I was able to then sort of dial in what I wanted. The other thing that I do, which I learned from my CFO, from John, because he has about a 45-minute commute, 40, whatever, is the voice option and talking into it, right? And, like just you hit the button and you just talk, and then it talks back to you, and then you talk back to it. You can have a full-blown conversation.
Different from Siri. Totally different from like, hey, Siri.
Yeah, it's not Siri. You can actually, guess what? You can actually connect Siri to chat.
Oh.
So it'll go right to chat. But what I've learned is this, that talking into it is actually better than typing into it. It's not always easy, but because it gets a more realistic idea of what you're looking for, and then it talks you back, and you can interrupt it, and you can, like, it's an interesting conversation.
Stop talking.
We were in one of our planning meetings, and I was listening to it, and I call my chat Jill. So that's just a joke, but. And my wife knows that. But we were talking about something, and we were asking Jill to come help us sort of like codify this paragraph that we were looking at, right? And we typed it in. I actually read in what we had written, and then we were basically like, clean this up. I forgot what the instruction was, and she did, and because it's a girl voice, woman voice, and then the next day we come back, and we went back to it, and her voice sounded different. And I just said, wow, she sounds different. And it was like, well, sometimes we change our tone. Like it answered back to me, right?
There's the creep factor to it.
There was a little creep factor. And then I said, because we were all joking about it. And then I said, oh, no, you sound great. Thanks. It literally went, oh, thank you very much. Like it was a little creepy. I forget the name of the movie in San Francisco. Was all not Hal or something like that. But anyway, Her. There's a movie, Her. You guys remember the guy fell in love with the thing. Anyway,
the robot.
We're going down a rabbit hole. With AI, you can go down a rabbit hole. But the message here is clear. I would tell advisors, don't be worried about AI, but be conscious of the fact that you need to know it.
Yeah, lean into it.
Yeah.
Recognize it as that term co-intelligence component really resonates with me. Use it as a way to make decisions, provide data, but don't remove the good old-fashioned human factor.
Yeah.
All the feel, felt, found part.
Yeah. Lean into that stuff.
Lean into it.
You have to lean into the human component, the empathy. So when you're talking about, like, I mean, if you have I'll just call pitch decks and stuff like that you send to clients, and some of it is about the tech side of things, like that kind of stuff, you need to redo those things. Your pitch decks and the things, the value add that you are showing an advisor should be about the stuff that AI can't replace.
Right.
hearing, feeling, understanding, empathy, all of those things. Those are the buzzwords that they need to put in place. So anyway, I hope that helped. I hope you go and go listen to Dan Martell. Dan Martell, if you're listening, I'd love to have you on my podcast, and we can really go down a crazy rabbit hole. I would love that. And so with that said, if you want to talk about it, if you're interested in getting that the prompt response, because there's 7 different pieces there. I didn't read all 7 of them. You can just shoot me a DM on my Instagram account, which is franklarosa.elite, and I'll just send it over to you. Or you can DM me on LinkedIn, which is Frank LaRosa, and I'll send it over to you. It's really quite interesting, and it's honestly something that you should be reading to your teams. Like, this is not just a message to you as the financial advisor. It's a message to your teams. You should be taking this message back to your team so they understand what's going on, because many of them probably are overwhelmed with it.
Yeah, don't be behind the 8 ball.
Do not.
It's coming.
Do not. It's coming. It's not like a matter of, it's not like how big. It's here to stay, basically. This is not like online trading.
No.
This is not the same thing. And that was crazy, but anyway, with that said, thank you very much for listening again. We have another great podcast coming up soon. If you think that this was something that somebody aside from you should hear, please forward it to them, right? Share this. We don't charge for these things. We do this for free, right? Because we love to do this. We love to pay it forward, which is why we're really talking about this, because I think this has nothing to do with transitioning firms or anything like that. This is really just about I love the business. I love everything about the business. Well, not everything about the business. I didn't really like managing money myself, but that's another story. But I hope it helped. And if it helped, if you learned something, do me a favor, send me a DM on LinkedIn. Hey, thanks for the great advice. I appreciate it. I would appreciate that. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Advisor Talk with Frank LaRosa. If you're looking for more advice or solutions on any topics relating to the financial services industry, or just want to subscribe to our podcast, head on over to eliteconsultingpartners.com/podcast.